Hey everyone, this is Will from SRT Amplification, and today I've got something on the bench that we're going to look at. I haven't even opened up the box. Well, I've opened up the box, but I haven't taken anything out of it yet. So we're going to look at this. I've also done some, I know I haven't made a video in a long time. I've got about 3 or 4 that are in various stages, but I thought I could knock this one out really quick. So and this came in the mail the other day. So, let me turn this camera around here. I'll show you what I'm working on. I built this little rack here to put some of my equipment on that I didn't have room for here on the table. So I'm filling this thing out. The plan is to have this area right here. I know it's still kind of cluttered, but this area right here is like a tear down area, and then a little test area, and then over here on the other side have a a solder area or whatever. So I can kind of tear down components over here or equipment over here, move them over here for testing, move them over here for rebuild or repair or whatever, back over here to testing, have everything all in one spot. So anyway, it's coming together. I still got a lot of things to put up and some more racks and stuff to build, but kind of running out of space. I've got this area over here I'm gonna put in, but anyway, it's kind of what she's looking at right now. Got a whole bunch of stuff on my rack over here to work on, so it's all coming together. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let me set this camera up here and we'll get back to this unbox. All right, so before we pull this thing out of here, and I'll show you what it is, I just wanted to say that I've done the majority of all of my solder or desoldering using desolder wick or the common sucker, right? And I pretty much got by with these 2 items right here, for everything I've pretty much done. A few years ago, or I guess about a year ago, I got one of these, and I was pleasantly surprised with it actually. The tip heats up, like a regular solder iron, and then it's got the suction built in there. However, this thing is it is just way too big to get into places, and it's not very good to handle, and it's just kind of awkward. It's not very ergonomic, and it's just, I don't know. It works though. It does work, but it does take multiple shots to get all the solder out, especially with through hole plate through stuff, double-sided. It can take a lot of shots, multiple shots, obviously. So, but it works. So I ran across a video, Dave, that runs the EEV or the EE blog, and he had reviewed a vacuum desolder station, and it was the same model, ZD, I don't know if you can see it here, ZD-915. It was the same model, okay? They put different, I guess, they put different brand names and stuff on them, whatever, but he reviewed it and it worked great. I did not like how it was built though. I thought it was kind of flimsy. This was several years ago that he did this. I'll put a link to that video down in the description, because I'm not going to do a full review on this thing. He tears it down and everything. But when I saw this online, I noticed that this particular one, it looks like they've made some improvements to the build. It's not so flimsy. It's got a full metal case, or at least that's the way it was advertised. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't pulled this open to see, but we'll find out here in just a minute. But it didn't look like that cheap plastic case that thing was encapsulated in and everything. So I decided I'm gonna give it a go. So let's look at this together. Like I said, I already cut the the thing off. I was going to open it up, but I thought, you know, I'll make a video about this. So this is how we're finding it right here. So it's the ZD-915 desoldering station. And at first glance, it looks just like the one that he reviewed. So we'll see. That's not what it looked like in the description. But anyway, when I bought, oh, okay. Yeah, so this one is metal. Okay, it looks like the front case is plastic, just like the one he had. Okay, yeah, so it looks like they may have taken some of his advice or somebody's advice and built this thing in a plastic. Let me get this box out of the way. It looks like they may have taken his advice and put this thing in a plastic, in a metal case. The one that he reviewed, the whole thing was plastic. This front panel here is still plastic, but I will take the cover, the metal cover off of this thing, and we'll look at the inside and see what it's built like. But it already looks a lot more robust than the one that he reviewed. So let's see what we got here. You know, I don't really like using electronic screwdrivers or anything like that to take things apart, but if you guys ever come up with one of these nice little ratcheting screwdrivers, they sure work great. Okay, so that washer came off. That washer's stuck on there. Find my little magnet here. There we go. Keep all the screws together. So it's 4 screws up on top here, and it looks like 2 on each side. This is different than the one he reviewed. This looks like it's got a different way to attach the holder. We'll see what the holder looks like here in a little bit, but his had a little thing that sat down here on the bottom. But we'll see here. You can go online with these, and there's all different kinds of modifications. There's one video out there that shows a guy that puts in a pump motor in line with this one to give it a little more suction. But Dave was real impressed with the amount of suction this thing had. As a matter of fact, the spec sheet on it is actually the amount of vacuum that it pulls is actually greater than the Heiko station. So, all right, so yeah, okay, so that comes off. So this is metal. This was plastic on his, but it's still got the same metal or same plastic front cover right here. And you can see the power supply is all in this shielded area. We have a exhaust fan here, cooling fan. Looks like it's 12 volts DC. This is the vacuum. Here's the vacuum motor. The vacuum pump's inside here. And yeah. Now, one thing on his is it didn't have this. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it didn't have this metal plate up here that reinforced this. This thing was just really flapping in the wind. And now it looks like they got a metal plate here that really reinforces that a little bit better. As a matter of fact, when he tore his down, this was flapping so much that one of the wires for the electrical lead right here came right off, and he had to resolder it on there. So anyway, okay, now a nut just fell out of here, and I don't know where that nut came from. This is very weird. Oh, I see. Okay. So there's little captures right here. These nuts get captured in there. And that's where that's where that goes. Okay. It shouldn't fall out like that, but interesting. Okay, so anyway, it's probably going to fall out again. But this is basically just like the one he reviewed as far as the controls go. You got your up and down on the temperature. And well, I'll power this on here in a minute and we'll see what it does, but his was really slow in getting up to temperature. You have your DIN cable connector right here, your 5-pin, or I guess it's 6-pin. Power on, and then this is for your air, and there's a filter right here. And I believe, let's see what else comes with this. I believe it should come with some spare filters. Let's see what all comes with this thing. Get this out of the way. Okay, so this is the stand. Yeah, the stand looks a lot more flimsy than the one he had. So this thing goes right here like this. So looks like that. I don't know how well that's going to work, but put this back in here. What else is in here? Oh, okay, here's a little sponge tray. Slides right in here, I'm guessing. Or it sits in here, I guess. Okay, there we go. So there's that. There's that. All right. What else we got here? Okay, there's a box. This box has in it a little bag with 2 tips and some filters. There's a big filter for the unit itself, and there's 3 smaller filters for the gun. You're probably going to go through the gun filters a lot more than the main unit filter. Okay, and then here is a set of cleaners, reamers for each size tip. So there's 3 of them, so I'm assuming the gun already has a tip on it since there's only 2 of them here in the bag. We'll see. And this is the gun. And yes, it does have a tip on it with a little, that's a nice touch. I don't remember seeing anything like that on the one he had. Now, he said this looks just like the gun that he had. He said that it felt like really cheap plastic. This is pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if they changed the type of plastic that they used, or this looks and feels really solid. I mean, it's not bad, and it's not very heavy, so that's good. The tips still got a little bit of solder in there. Not steel, but it comes with solder tinned on the tip. So when you heat it up, it doesn't start oxidating. Let's see if we can, there's a little button down here. You press down or up one way or another. I think it's up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, BA start, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was down. That's kind of, That is, there we go. Okay, so you got to take that, you take the spring tension off, and it goes down. So you're not going to be able to press that thing down by yourself. You got to press this and get that spring tension off a little bit, then it'll go down, and then it'll allow you to go. It'll do it. So that's Okay, that's good to know. And then this, so you have a little seal right there. That seal looks to be better than the one that he had on his model. And this comes off, and I don't know how this goes out unless it's as far back as that goes. Don't want to break that glass. I mean, this thing, it doesn't come out. Oh, so this thing releases, but this doesn't want to come out. There's not enough clearance. I mean, eventually you got to get this thing out to clean it, but I don't guess I need to get it out right now. That's weird. So then that goes back in there. That seals it off. Okay, well, I'll see about that later. Anyway, you have a filter here before it leaves the gun. So you're filtering the vacuum there so you don't get anything in your pump. And then you're filtering it once more down here. This spring is on here. And this is a lot different than his spring. His spring was like a conical. It actually caught the metal in the spring itself, and you had to clean the spring. But this spring right here is just to cool the solder really fast so that it solidifies in there. But yeah, on the end you got your 6-pin connector and your vacuum. So I think we're missing something though, because we should have an adapter for this vacuum hose that goes onto the unit. So let's look in the box. Okay, so yes, right here. Here's that adapter. And if we flip this thing where you can see it, I'm going to lose that screw again, or that nut. I'm going to flip it here, so let me get that. And if you can see here, this screws right on here. And I was about to say there should be a washer, but there's the washer right there. So that washer is going to seal it off. Yeah, you probably need that washer on there. That's probably critical. All right, so let me get this thing put back together, and then when I come back with the next part of this video, we'll test it out real quick. Okay, so here we got this thing set up. I got a little circuit card here that we're gonna work on. I'm not gonna do, Dave in his review took a whole very large circuit card and did like every component out of it just to see how it was. I'm just gonna take this, I believe this is a 7812 IC voltage regulator. We're just gonna do that one. See how it works. Let's power it up and see what goes on. Now I believe, if I remember correctly, in the one he had a blue backlight. So let's see what this one has. Yep. So it looks like it's got the same display. In the camera it looks really light blue, but it's very, very dark and real, you know, as I'm looking at it, really dark. It's got a really good contrast. It says heat on, wait. The fan's running, as you can hear. It's kind of noisy. We can't do the vacuum yet until the solder heats up on that end, because there's no opening. I mean, I could, but there's probably not good for it. I don't really like this holder. Okay, so it warmed up to 160 Celsius pretty fast. That's not going to melt the solder by no means. So let's run it up to that. Actually warmed up a lot faster than the one he reviewed. I will tell you that. Let's run this thing up. I wish this thing, okay, if I hold it, maybe. There we go. Okay, and then it goes into the 10s. Okay, so let's stick it around 310. it is slow on the heat up, but it warmed up to 160 really fast, I thought. Seemed like it was a lot faster than the one he had. It seems like this is heating up faster a little bit. So I don't know what they did. I'm sure there's some kind of triac or something in here that's communicating and you know, controlling the heating element and everything with the unit. Okay, so it overshot it a little bit. We should see some smoke here. Yep, it looks like it's molten. There it went. It sucked it up. You see it back there on the filter? Yep. See that spring? That spring actually caught it in there. See it jumping around? Alright, so let me set this camera back up and we'll try this out on the circuit card. Alright, so we're going to try it here on this IC voltage regulator. I'm using the tip that it came with. I think this is probably the medium one, the middle size one. Not sure what that size is. I'll have to look at the instructions to see what the... But I'm going to put a little bit of solder on this. Tip. I can see it starting to oxidize a little bit. There you go. Okay. Good. Alright. And I'm going to put a little flux. Just a little dab of flux right there on the card. And let's see what she does. Here we go. Okay, so this is plated through hole. It's a double-sided board, 2 layers, and you can see it pretty much got all the solder off of this side. And there you go. Look at there. Fell right out. And the component's not hot, so I didn't have to stay on it very long. And nice and clean. Look at that. Holes are nice and clean, as you can see. Yeah. Clean that up a little bit. Interesting. All right. That makes me just want to go around and strip components off really quick. That's a real time saver. It would have taken for this, even this, as small as these pads are, with the plated through hole, and how that solder wicks all the way through the plate, the plated through hole there, you know, all the way to this side. There's a lot of solder in there, and that would have taken multiple pumps of that pump, or a very long time wicking that out, really. And it, you know, it's just excess heat on the board and everything else that you don't need, especially with semiconductive components and capacitors. But yeah, so it works. Like I said, I'm not going to do a complete teardown of this thing or get into any of the specs or anything like that. Obviously, there's some maintenance that you have to do with these, but you know, with the pump, you have to clean those out periodically too. Obviously, there's a little more involved with cleaning of this. You got the filters and stuff like that, but that's pretty good. I mean, you could do a lot of desoldering before you'd have to empty this thing out. So I'm really liking that. aspect of it. It's got a lot of suction. Seems like it's got a lot of suction. And this really feels good. I mean, it's very ergonomic. I don't get the impression that it's cheaply built. I mean, it is cheaply built, but it doesn't feel like it's cheaply built. I mean, if that makes any sense, it feels really good. It's not like there's nothing that's rattling or anything that feels like it's coming apart or anything like that. It's really solid. So that is the ZD-915 pump station. I think I paid I don't know, it was like $140 or less, like right around $140 I think on Amazon. And it wasn't I'm sure it's made in China, but it wasn't shipped from China. It was shipped from right here in the United States. I got it within like a week, less than a week. So there's that 7812. It's a 12 volt IC voltage regulator. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. I know it's a short video, but and I've got a few more coming out. I've got a follow up to the crossover filters that I was talking about with speakers. I'm going a little more into that. We're going to look at the O-scope and see how you can actually figure out what the frequency response of a filter or a crossover or a speaker or anything is by looking at the signal on the O-scope. So that's probably going to be the next video coming out. I've still got a little more work to do that post production, but I knew I could get this one out really quick. So I'm going to get this one out, and then that one should be coming out soon. So I appreciate it if you guys subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more videos like this. And thank you for watching.